Hi, everybody. Today we've got a 2024 matchup between Joe Manchin for the Democrats up against Larry Hogan for the Republicans. This was suggested to me in the comments, and this is the kind of matchup that could easily change if I made this in a few weeks from now. But let's try to get into it. Joe Manchin, U.S. Senator from West Virginia. He's considered a moderate or conservative Democrat. He's from a very red state. He's in his mid-70s. Sometimes it seems like he goes against Biden. I think he tries to play it both ways. National Democrats, most of them not going to be a fan of Joe Manchin. The progressive base, they're definitely not going to come out and vote for Manchin. If he was going against Donald Trump, then some of those voters might come out purely to vote against Trump. But if Larry Hogan is on the ticket, he's not going to elicit that kind of negative reaction that Trump would. Now, Larry Hogan, former two-term governor of Maryland, he's also considered moderate. I don't think he would be considered as liberal as nearby Charlie Baker or Phil Scott. He was from a very blue state, and he proved to be popular. In his position, I'm sure he had to make concessions and compromises, and if he were running nationally, I would imagine he would try to craft a campaign similar to Glenn Youngkin, where he hopes to get enough of the Trump support, but really he's going to be going for suburban voters, independents, and moderates. And I know Hogan has come out against Trump. That is going to cost him some of those voters, but what Hogan lacks with the base, just like Joe Manchin, they're going to hope to make up for it with disaffected voters in the middle who think both sides are too extreme. He's probably going to run as a sane voice for the middle. He's going to tout how he pushes back against the Trump base. He's also going to have appeal tearing down Biden at the same time. And I'm sure he's banking on enough voters being tired of both parties that maybe they're going to come out for somebody that purports to be in the middle. I don't know what Manchin's going to do if he comes out and bashes Biden. I think he would crash with Democrats. If he comes out and bashes the Trump base, I don't think that's going to work either. Hogan, I think, is in a stronger position, but it is hard to say how they would run their campaigns. So let's go through these states. We'll talk a little bit more about it at the end. Let's start in Alaska. That is going to go safe for Larry Hogan. Trump already won it by 10 last time, and I think Hogan could probably do a little bit better. Hawaii, safe for Manchin. Now we go to the West Coast, Washington, Oregon, California. They're going to go safe for Manchin. I think the margins would be reduced because of the lack of enthusiasm for Manchin, but they're still so overwhelmingly blue. Hogan is not going to be able to get them under 10. Nevada, that's going to flip. That's going to go to Hogan, probably by a 1 to 3 point lean margin. Idaho and Utah, safe for Hogan. Arizona, that's going to also flip back. Hogan's going to win that by low single digits. Leans for Hogan. Montana, Wyoming, safe for Hogan. Colorado, that's going to get under 10. It's going to be likely for Manchin. New Mexico, that's going to get under 5. Probably only slightly, but it's going to be leans for Manchin. North and South Dakota, safe for Hogan. Nebraska, at large, safe for Hogan. The 2nd District, Larry Hogan. He's a good fit for this district. His moderate appeal is going to flip this. It's going to go tilt for Hogan. Kansas and Oklahoma, safe for Hogan. Texas, that's going to be probably high single digits, likely for Hogan. Minnesota, I think that'll get down to probably 4 to 5 points. Hogan going to be a reasonable fit for the suburbs, but it's still going to go blue. It's going to go leans for Manchin. Iowa, that's still going to be mid to high single digits, likely for Hogan. Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana, red states, safe for Hogan. Now we've got Wisconsin. You could make a case either way. Either the red trending Trump counties, they're just not going to turn out for Hogan, or the suburbs are going to go for Hogan so much that he's able to win it. I could see it both ways. In the end, I thought the Trump reduction would be outweighed by the lack of a Manchin vote, so Hogan is going to win Wisconsin by a tilt margin. Illinois, low double digits, still safe for Manchin. Michigan, this is another one. You could do it either way. I settled on a tilt for Manchin. Indiana, safe for Hogan. Kentucky, Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, safe for Hogan. Down to Florida, this is probably going to be about 5 to 6. It's going to be likely for Hogan. Georgia's going to go back toward the Republicans. It's going to be by a lean margin. South Carolina, safe for Hogan. North Carolina, leans for Hogan. Let's go to Ohio. This does border West Virginia, but again, it's going to be mid to high single digits, likely for Hogan. Now we've got Manchin's home state of West Virginia. When it comes to national politics, this is a much redder state, but Larry Hogan, not the best fit for West Virginia. Could Manchin make it competitive? Maybe, but not enough to get under 10. I still think it's going to be safe for Hogan. Let's go to the corner, Maine at large. That's going to be close to leans, but still likely for Manchin. The 1st District, it's going to be narrower, but still safe for Manchin. The 2nd District, somewhere between 4 and 6 points. I put it at leans for Hogan. Next door, New Hampshire, I think this could flip. Hogan could win this by at least 1 point, so it is going to go leans for Hogan. Now we've got Vermont, New York, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, New Jersey, and Delaware. Reduced margins, but I still think over 10 safe for Manchin. Now we've got Larry Hogan's home state of Maryland. This does neighbor West Virginia. Manchin was unable to get his margin down to single digits. Could Larry Hogan do better? I think he would do better than Manchin. I think Hogan is more popular in his home state, and it is very blue on a presidential level. So this is a bold call, but I am going to say Larry Hogan could get it down to about 9.5 points, likely for Manchin. Washington, D.C., safe for Manchin. Let's take a look at Pennsylvania. That's one where the Philadelphia suburbs, Hogan I see doing better. Now, Western Pennsylvania, maybe Manchin does have some appeal with those blue-collar voters. It's a possibility. It's a very tough call and could go either way. In the end, I settled on a tilt for Manchin. The last state is Virginia. I'll say that could get down to just under 5, and that's going to be leans for Manchin. And the final total comes out to 283 for Larry Hogan, 255 for Joe Manchin. So it looks like Hogan is able to pull out a win here, and there's a lot of different ways you could interpret this. Some of you might say all these blue states on the coasts and Illinois, they're going to be much narrower and get down to likely margins because Joe Manchin has such a limited appeal. Larry Hogan is going to sweep the moderates, independents, and the suburbs. Some of you might also take another path and say that Larry Hogan has completely no credibility with the Trump base. They're going to sit home, and moderates and suburban voters, they're going to come out for Manchin. There's that possibility too. I think a lot of it comes down to the national environment. If the economic sentiment is how it is now, I think there's so much dissatisfaction that Hogan would be able to beat a conservative Democrat like Manchin. So you're probably going to have some different takes. I didn't want to go too crazy with this. I basically kept the map the same, and it all came down to the usual competitive states, but Larry Hogan was able to do about 2 to 3 points better than Manchin. That's how I see it going with the base turnout reductions between the Trump side and the progressive side. Voters in the middle, I think, would be a little bit more open to Hogan than Manchin. Again, unless it's a great economy, then Manchin might be able to pull it out. So tough matchup. I tried to go through each state. This is what I settled on. So let me know in the comments, do you mostly agree with this map? If not, which states would you change? Let me know down below. On your way out, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Join if you'd like to support the channel. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next video.